Hey folks, thanks for watching. You know, it's been a couple months now when I did my first episode looking at muzzle brakes, and we were looking at the Precision Armaments Hyper Tap on my 5.56 223 IWI Tavor rifle. Now, because that's a bullpup, I got a lot of concussive blast to my face. Didn't like it. So I went back to the flash hider. But I still wanted to reduce muzzle climb and increase what they call recovery time, or actually decrease recovery time, so I can get back on target a little bit faster with that rifle. So the flash hider is not going to help me do that. So what I did is I did some more looking around, and I found this. Kaw Valley Precision. This is not a muzzle brake, it is a linear compensator. So I said to myself, what is the difference? Well, the difference really is in how they act. The linear compensators don't jet the gases in all different sorts of directions. Instead, what this is designed to do is to jet the gases far forward from the shooter, thereby, as is claimed on the website, thereby reducing the concussiveness to the face, the blast to the face, and also supposed to be reducing even the noise to the ears. But you still have to wear hearing protection. This is not a suppressor or silencer. So I was intrigued with that. These are not terribly expensive. Got this from Wing Tactical. They support veterans. I appreciate that. Gave me a little bit better deal. We're going to give this a try. Ever since I started, it's like I'm on a mission to find what I will consider for me an ideal muzzle brake compensator to let me get on target just a little bit faster than a flash hider and yet not make it uncomfortable as a shooting experience. So let's take this thing out in the field and see how it goes. We're going to be looking at muzzle climb, muzzle rise. Going to be measuring that with the Mantis X10, looking at the shooter experience and those sort of things, and comparing it once again to the Advanced Armaments flash hider. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head out. All right, let me start by setting this up. I'm going to be firing two 5-round magazines at the main torso of this target. And I'm going to be scoring this target where I'll get 10 points for every round impacting in the orange area, and then obviously 9 points and 8 points and 7 as indicated on the target. I'll be following this up with 15 rounds, a single 15-round magazine shot to the head, more or less as quickly as I can get back on target. And I'm going to be repeating this with both the Kaw Valley Precision linear compensator and the Advanced Armaments flash hider. First series of shots, Kaw Valley Precision linear comp, then the flash hider, then 15 rounds of the flash hider, followed by 15 rounds, Kaw Valley Precision linear comp. I'm recording all this with the Mantis X10 recoil meter. And now that it's all done, we'll head back in and take a look at the results. We're back in from the range, and I'm thinking, first impressions or initial impressions, not bad. The linear compensator certainly did not have any concussiveness to my face, which is a big plus and something I was really trying to avoid. But at the same time, there really wasn't any measurable or even perceived advantage of the linear compensator over the flash hider. Now, while some people have reviewed the Kaw Valley linear compensator and said that they had less recoil, felt less recoil, that's perceived recoil, and for them that might indeed be the case. For me, I noticed no difference in perceived recoil, firing the exact same ammo, and also I noticed no difference in the muzzle rise. And actually that was pretty well corroborated with the Mantis X10's measurements. But to be very fair, we have to look at what the linear compensator was designed to do, and it wasn't designed to be a brake. There's a difference between a muzzle brake and a compensator. So the more traditional muzzle brakes that we see, like the Hypertop, takes those gases that are contributing to the recoil, felt recoil, and even more importantly in this case, contributing to the muzzle rise, and they're redirecting those gases. They're redirecting those gases backwards and upwards. That way, the muzzle is being pushed effectively down. It's compensating, even though it's not a compensator. So that blast backwards to accomplish what a muzzle brake is trying to do is what people feel at their face. It's what gives a lot louder sound, even if you're wearing plugs or earmuffs. You'll probably, it'll even still sound louder to you, not dangerously loud, but it'll still register as louder. Now, a linear compensator like Kaw Valley Precision, their approach is to jet those gases far out away from the muzzle. Now, why do that? It really doesn't affect perceived recoil. I could tell no difference. Of course, this is only a 5.56. It had nothing to do with muzzle rise, had no effect on muzzle rise, but again, it wasn't designed for that. But where the linear compensator can be really, really useful, I think, is if you're shooting at an indoor range. It could be pretty darn nice because what you're doing is it's not a brake, so you're not offending all those other people relatively close by, but rather you're shooting those gases farther downrange and should be more pleasant for other people shooting nearby. Now let's take a closer look at those Mantis X10 measured results, and we'll start with recovery time. Now, by definition, recovery time is the time required for the gun to return stable to the original point of aim. And here we're seeing that the Kaw Valley Precision linear compensator had a higher recovery time compared to the flash hider. In fact, it looks like it's quite a bit higher, but you have to look at the range of values on that y-axis, and we're only talking about 1.6, 1.7 second, and the difference is only in a couple tenths of a second, so really not that much different. Next, let's look at muzzle rise. Now this is angular, and it measures the peak angular movement of the muzzle following shooting. And in this case, the results are flipped, where the flash hider looks like it's quite a bit higher than the Kaw Valley Precision linear compensator. But again, these differences are only in the tenths of a degree of difference. So once again, probably nothing significant and probably nothing you're going to perceive as different while you're shooting. Lastly, the Mantis X10 measures what's called recoil width. This is what they call the loop formed by the muzzle rising and then coming back to that stable position. And what is the width in angles or bearing degrees across that loop? I think that the shooter has an awful lot to do with this. The shooter who can manage recoil very, very well is probably going to have a very narrow recoil width, whereas a gun that's less controlled or controllable, it's probably going to have a very wide recoil width. And in this case, they're almost identical. Advanced Armaments, Flash Hider, Kaw Valley Precision, linear comp, pretty much identical. Now the final wrap up for the linear compensator, there's no problem with it whatsoever. It didn't, however, do what I am trying to do, and that is to reduce that muzzle rise and allow me to get back on target faster. In this case, really no different than using the Advanced Armaments Flash Hider. Is it a bad product though? No, 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 no. It's just a fine product and certainly has its applications. So thanks once again for watching, and stay tuned. We have another review coming up on the Precision Armaments EFAB device. That's the Enhanced Flash Arresting Brake.